The Pies have brought in a wealth of talent in the coaches department. Let's talk about it. What is going on? I hope everyone has had a great start to their week. Christmas or the holidays is just around the corner, and I'm pretty excited actually. It's going to be a good end to the year. I hope you're having a good end to the year. But let's talk about what you are watching this video for. Collingwood have pretty much shored up their coaches for the 2026 season and some incredible inclusions. So at the end of 2025, a few key personnel in the coaching ranks has left us. Josh Fraser, our development coach, went to Carlton. Andy Otten left us as well, who was our VFL coach. And Scott Selwood left us as well to pursue a career after football. Now, that left us pretty light on coaches. And, there were talks. We were sort of looking at Travis Boak, but he went to Carlton. I thought that would have been an incredible acquisition, but it wasn't meant to be. Lately, a few coaches have been filtering through. Recently, it's been Tyson Goldsack, who has come back to the club after being at Port Adelaide. He will serve as our forward coach, which I love. I've been seeing him a lot of training. He's very vocal, which you need from coaches, obviously. And some of the guys played with him. And it's just good to have Moneybags around the club again after scoring that first goal in the 2010 Grand Final replay, which is still wild to me.
Cloak the long ball, Goldsack. Well, he doesn't kick too many goals to kick the first goal in the Grand Final. Not too many. Probably not even him. Goldsack kicks it.
The next coach we brought in is another former Collingwood player in Matt Loken. Now, Matt Loken played 46 games. Yeah, 46 games for Collingwood. Played every single game in 2003, including the grand final. Since he left, this has been his resume. So he was senior coach at Glenelg from 2015 to 2017, and senior coach of Port Adelaide in the Sample from 2018 to 2022. So that's huge to get him in as our VFL coach. Another Collingwood or ex-Collingwood player, so we're keeping it in the family still. While he was working at Port Adelaide for those few years, coaching the Sandville team, he was also head of development for the AFL side. Now, Loken has actually been at Collingwood since 2023. He has been in our recruiting team, but what he will do now is, as the senior VFL coach, he will also work as a development coach between the VFL and the AFL, so integrating the VFL players into the AFL. And we know that's a bit of a sour spot at the moment because it's something that we really should be doing. And, there was rumors circulating that possibly that was why Fraser and Andy Otten left, because the VFL wasn't really getting looked at for some of these players. I don't really know. That's just like, rumors that you sort of hear on the grapevine with no sort of evidence or claimed or good claims to sort of back that up. But Matt Loken will be that bridge between the AFL and the VFL, and he has done it numerous times, working in Adelaide, working at Port Adelaide. So I think that's a really good, it's a promotion, if you want to call it, because I was going to say acquisition, but it has been at Collingwood since 2023. But the beauty about that is he knows the club like the back of his hand now, knows these players, and will help them develop. And then on Tuesday, two more coaches were announced, and two really, really, really great people and great talent coming into the club. The first one is former Essendon captain Dyson Heppell. Now, this guy, look, I don't know much about his time at Essendon, except for that he was a great player, won a couple of best and fairest, the captain, all this sort of stuff. What I do know is that I was listening to a podcast with him. I think it was from the Imperfects, about his time in the AFL, about the Essendon drug saga and all that sort of stuff. He just seems like such a genuine guy. And to have him as a development coach, developing the young kids, what more could you ask for? He's a legend at Essendon. A legend of the AFL just in general. You can talk about the finals or whatever you want to talk about, but he is an incredibly talented player and person. So to have him developing Printable, Anderson, Saxena, all these sort of kids, Swadley, McCarthy, all the kids. I'll name 1,000 of them, you know. Um, and then also being in the same building as Scott Pendlebury. So two of these guys who have, you know, combined for nearly 700 games coaching and developing these kids, albeit Heppell is developing them because that's his job. Pendles is still playing. I think that is second to none in the AFL. The thing with Heppell, though, is I'm pretty sure he's still signed to play with Port Melbourne in the VFL next season. So, you know, I don't know if that's a conflict of interest where the players he's developing, he'll be playing against when Port Melbourne play for Collingwood, but maybe he doesn't play those Collingwood games. I'm not too sure how that's going to work, or even if he is going to play for Port Melbourne next year. But I think that is an incredible, incredible acquisition by the Pies.
Kennedy handball. Oh, Heppell! That is magnificent. Heppell from Heppell. That is brilliant courage. But when you see that from a young player, that is just extraordinary bravery.
Now, the last coach we bring in is Greg Stafford as our ruck coach. Greg Stafford, previously at Melbourne for 11 years, he oversaw their ruck division and then moved into their ruck and forward sort of division. You know, trained up, gone into what he is. Luke Jackson, I know he only lasted a couple of seasons, then went to Fremantle. Then Royan. So all these sort of rucks that they've got going, it was Stafford that did that. Oversaw, you know, the premiership in 2021 as well. Has over 20 years of experience in the AFL. He was a ruckman for Richmond and Sydney. I think, you know, yes, having Dyson Heppell is incredible and, you know, Goldsack coming back, but I think Stafford might be the most important coach that we've brought in to date. When was the last time Collingwood had just a ruck coach doing ruck work? Like, I remember Rocker was one. I can't remember when that was, though. It was before 2015. Ben Hudson was probably the last one that we had from memory. He was, what, 2013, 2014, but he was like, yeah, I'll be a ruck coach, and if you need me, I'll play. We needed him, and he played, and that was a little bit of fun. But he was probably the only one that I can think of in recent times. And if you know, let me know down below. But I don't think we've had a standalone ruck coach. What this is going to do, it's going to elevate not only Darcy Cameron's game, but Ilaru Smith and Zach McCarthy and Oscar Steen. They're not going to be working with the midfield coach solely. It will be with Greg Stafford, who has worked previously as ruck coaches. And you're learning from the guy that taught Max Gawn, for the most part, how to ruck, how to do his positions, how to move and all this sort of stuff, and how to be the best ruckman that probably, maybe Polly Farmer is the other one, the AFL world has ever seen. So I think that that is just a second to none coach. And I keep saying acquisition because I can't think of any other words, but definitely an incredible acquisition by the Pies. I did mention a couple of months ago that I think these coaches leaving and getting new coaches in is just what Collingwood need at the moment. You don't want to stay stagnated for too long with the same coaches, the same yes men around you. You want to change it up a little bit. You know, you get a new forward coaching, new development coach, new ideas, fresh ideas from other parts of the country, other parts of clubs and all this sort of stuff, and just other knowledge that they've had for decades in the job. So I think this is what we need to elevate our game to the next level. We weren't far off it in 2025, but I think new and fresh ideas is just what the doctor ordered for the Pies in 2026. But thank you all for watching. If you aren't already, please consider signing up to become a Swoop Luke member. You get that awesome Swoop Luke membership pack with a bit of merch for a foundation member, the key ring. You get your name in the credits at the end of the videos. It's going to be at the end of this video as well. Shout out to everyone that's become a member already. And I'll see you all in the comments. Catherine, Janet, Bubs, Sush, Ben Zero. I'm sure there's so many more more of you. They're the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. But the community is growing. Also, be sure to check out the website, swoopluke.au. It's got that's free to use and free to submit articles and photos and all that sort of stuff. You can do that now. You can do that in season, and that's going to be an incredible way to stay connected to the Magpie community. And until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers, I'll swoop you later.